Welcome back. So tonight we're making what I call impossible peanut butter cookies. I call them impossible because it's impossible for me to believe they have no flour in them. But somehow the peanut butter makes them so they don't need any flour. I love this recipe. I stumbled on it a long time ago in another cookbook, and then I found it again in a keto cookbook. So the recipe at the beginning of the video is in the keto cookbook, and you'll note that I put that if you're not keto, if you're not trying to lose weight, if you're not diabetic, whatever, it's 1 cup of sugar, regular sugar. But if you have a need for a low calorie sweetener, then the sweetener given in the recipe is 1/2 cup of monk fruit. I found that erythritol works just fine. I'm going to be using what am I using tonight? I'm using Swerve tonight. So let's get to it. These are our ingredients. I'm going to be making 2 batches. I'm going to be making 1 batch for the boys and 1 batch for me, which everybody knows I'm slightly allergic to peanuts, but I just got a Dupixent shot, so I'm going to enjoy them because the Dupixent shot gives me some protection from the peanut butter. All right, so we need sugar, regular sugar for the boys, creamy peanut butter for our cookies tonight. You can use creamy or crunchy, whichever kind you like. 1 egg for each batch. Okay, so again, I have 1 egg and peanut butter. Now for mine, I'll be using powdered Swerve, which measures just like sugar, but I find that to me, it tastes sweeter than sugar, so I will not be using a cup of it. I'll only be using 1/2 cup. So that's all you need. These are medium-sized bowls. They're not giant bowls. And the recipe says to preheat the oven to 350. So I'm gonna do that. Make sure I don't have my oven. Nothing in the oven, no fire this time. Last time I had a fire. And of course, since I'm recovering from brain injury, and I also deal with, as a result of that, I deal with executive dysfunction. I don't want to forget that I'm baking and walk away. Sometimes the timer on the oven doesn't register. Oh, that's for me. So I have these. And the red one says cooking. It's a tactile reminder that I'm cooking. So I'll put that on my wrist. And it will remind me. I'll see it, and it will remind me that I'm cooking, so I won't walk off from the stove. Or if I do walk off from the stove, the oven, I will remember, oh yeah, I'm cooking. And I'll keep that top of mind so that I don't burn my cookies to a crisp. I have done that a few times, but this really has prevented that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do with my recipe is I'm going to mix together the egg and peanut butter in each bowl with the sweetener, okay? So I'm going to do that and then come back and show you the consistency with the peanut butter, when you put it, don't use a clear measuring cup for liquids. Make sure you use a plastic measuring cup for solids, and make sure you get all the air out of it and that it's smooth across the top. And because you want to get a solid 1 cup of peanut butter. Then I also put the egg in first and the sweetener in second and the peanut butter in last. That seems to make it easier to mix. So I thought I'd come back and show you. This is the erythritol, or the swerve, in the powdered sugar form. It looks just like powdered sugar. And so just like regular powdered sugar is sweeter than granulated powdered sugar, so is powdered erythritol. That's why I'm sticking to the half a cup. So I'm going to mix this up and get the lumps out of it before I add the peanut butter. I just thought of something. It is easier to manage the peanut butter if you use a small plastic flexible spatula like this, because then you can really smash it down and get the air bubbles out. Then with a metal implement, you're not going to be able to smash it down and get the air bubbles out as easily. Okay, so I wanted to share that. All right. It's level, smashed down as good as it's going to get. Now I'm going to get it inside the egg mixture and mix those together. I'm just going to kind of fold this in until it's well blended. You can use a mixer, but I'm feeling kind of lazy tonight. I don't want to drag that sucker out. Plus I have a migraine, and the sound of the mixer is right in that range that's going to hurt my head. So sorry guys, I'm not going to use the mixer. You can do it either way. You can do it by hand or with a mixer. It's not going to matter with these cookies. That's the other reason they're kind of impossible. They're like impossible to fail. After about 10 stirs, they look like that. All right, now I'm going to switch from stirring with the fork to stirring with that plastic spatula, just so I can get everything that's on the sides of the bowl and on the bottom of the bowl. And then I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to mix up the other batch. Okay, this is the bowl for the other batch after I did the egg and the sugar. Now the texture is a little different on this one because it's granulated sugar and it's twice as much. Keep in mind, obviously, when this cooks, this is going to melt, so it's not going to stay this texture. Okay, I have the 2 sets ready. Now the next thing is we're going to ball them up, and the regular cookie set is going to get dipped in sugar and then smashed. Obviously, my set is not going to get dipped in sugar. Now, I had the thought, for all my bodybuilding kids out there, you could experiment with increasing the protein of these cookies by, obviously, number 1, using the erythritol or the monk fruit, and number 2, leaving the sugar off the outside, obviously, and 3, maybe putting a little bit of, say, whey powder or something like that that you guys use to increase your protein in the mix. All right, I wouldn't put much. I'd only put a quarter cup or so, because if you put too much, you're going to end up messing up the texture of the cookie. All right, because the only liquid in this thing is from the egg and the little bit of fat in the little bit of oil from the peanut butter. But you could try that as an experiment, and increase the protein in the cookie. You could also go to 2 eggs and 2 cups of peanut butter, and add, say, half a cup. Leave the sweetener the way it is, and add the protein powder that way. You just have to experiment with it, okay, and see if it works. And if it does, you've got your own homemade protein bars or protein cookies, instead of paying 3 or 4 or 5. I don't remember how much the last one I bought for my son was, but they were pretty expensive. So might be worth a try. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a ball, and then I'm going to roll that ball into sugar, and then I'm going to smash it with 2 forks. Alternatively, if you wanted to make an Impossible Hug or a Reese's Hug, if you had Hershey's Kisses, which I do not, you could make a ball, roll it in sugar, and then stick a Hershey's Kiss down in the ball, and that would be pretty cool too. Sorry, I don't have any of those to show you. The baking time would be the same, maybe a smidge longer, because you're talking about a fatter cookie than a smashed cookie. But again, the sugar on the outside of the cookies is only for the regular people who want the full-on sweetness, regular sugar, regular, all that. I'll do a couple and then show you when I come back. All right, I'm going to try my best to do this and hold this at the same time. These are the size of ping pong balls. Smash, rock, cross, rock. So it makes a crosshatch. There you go. Okay, first batch is in. It says 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, unlike regular sugar, erythritol is a sugar alcohol, so it's digested a little bit differently. Do not try to eat the whole, if you're a nibbler on cookie dough, do not try to eat the whole thing, or even a whole bunch of these raw. The erythritol probably upset your stomach, give you the trots. Same thing if you eat a whole bunch of these cookies. Just 1 or 2 is all you need with these cookies. They're wonderful, and they will take care of any sweet craving that you're having if you're on a diet. But too many of them is probably gonna, you're gonna regret it. And oh yeah, okay, see how close these are? If I had done that with the snickerdoodles, if you see my snickerdoodle video, they would swell up and puff up and be falling off the cookie sheet and all over each other, right? But because of the fact that these have nothing in them, they have no leavening in them, they have no flour in them, nothing. What you see is what you get. The size you roll those balls out and smash them down is the size of the cookie. Okay, so if you make them small enough, you can get them all on one cookie sheet. So keep that in mind when you're making the balls, that's going to affect the cooking time. And additionally, because these have none of those things in them, they also are more fragile cookies. So you have to let them cool on the baking sheet until the baking sheet is completely cool before you try to transfer them to, say, the table with on top of aluminum foil or something else, okay? You gotta let them cool all the way. They are very fragile. They will completely fall apart if you try to transfer them while they're warm. All right? Okay. In a blink, like Santa's magic, I will come back and show you the finished product. It has 4 minutes on it. So, Merry Christmas, y'all. I'll be back in a blink. Okay, that's after 13 minutes, and they look a little pale to me still. So I'm gonna put them back in for about 3 more minutes. Okay, well, they've been in a total of 16 minutes and they still look the same. So when you can't tell by looking at them, you can always check with a little cake tester. And they're coming out dry, so they're done. For some reason, they just look mighty pale to me. I guess it's because I'm comparing them to those. So, anyway, they're done. So I'm going to take them out. So once these are cooled, they are kind of, I guess they're medium crunchy. They're medium crunchy, not super crunchy, not soft. They're a really nice texture. I took a picture of the recipe. I'm going to try to attach it either to the front or the back of the video. I don't know if I can. And a picture from the recipe book of the cookies themselves. So hopefully that'll all work for the video. Anyway, let me know in the comments if there's a recipe that you want me to make. I'm thinking I'll do barbacoa in the next week or two. I made it for Dad today and it turned out really good. It kind of perplexed him that it turned out really good. He kept saying, "That's not how you make it, that's not how you make it," but he liked it. So, oh well. But anyway, if there's something else that you guys are wanting because it's cold weather, let me know. Anyway, I miss y'all and let me know. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.